Before Middle-earth existed, before elves or men walked its lands, the world was sung into being. Who is Ainulindalë? What is the music of the Ainur? And why did Melkor's discord change the fate of creation itself? Today, we explore Tolkien's divine beginning, the Ainulindalë. Before time was counted, before the stars awoken, there was only the one, Ainulindalë. Within him was every idea, every possibility, every story that would ever be told. And from these thoughts he brought forth the Ainur, beings born directly from his mind. Each of them understood Ilúvatar only in part. No Ainur carried the full picture. Each one grasped a fragment, a theme, a concept, a direction. Power, motion, patience, beauty, destruction, hope. They were not servants in the usual sense. They were interpretations, and for a long time they listened. Ilúvatar taught them music, not as entertainment, but as expression. Through music, the Ainur learned to shape thought into form. At first, they sang alone, simple melodies, individual voices, but Ilúvatar had something greater in mind. Then Ilúvatar said to them, "Of the theme that I have declared to you, I will now that ye make in harmony together a great music. And since I have kindled you with the flame imperishable, ye shall show forth your powers in adorning this theme, each with his own thoughts and devices, if he will. But I will sit and hearken, and be glad that through you great beauty has been wakened into song." He gathered the Ainur before him and gave them a theme, not instructions, not commands, a theme. And he asked them to make music together. At first, the sound was hesitant. Each Ainur sang carefully, unsure of how their voice fit among the others. But gradually, harmony emerged. The music grew, layer by layer, voice by voice. This was not noise, it was structure, order, meaning. And within the music, visions began to appear. The Ainur saw mountains rising where deep notes resonated. They saw waters flowing where melodies intertwined. They saw patterns, the suggestion of a world that did not yet exist. But harmony, no matter how perfect, is fragile. Among the Ainur was Melkor. He was the most powerful of them, not because Ilúvatar favored him, but because Melkor had explored the deepest parts of Ilúvatar's mind, and in doing so, he became restless. Melkor did not want to understand the theme. He wanted to replace it. While the others delighted in harmony, Melkor wandered alone into the void, searching for the secret fire, the power to create life independently. But the flame imperishable belonged to Ilúvatar alone. Melkor found nothing, and from that frustration, a new desire was born. If he could not create on his own, then he would dominate what others made. So when the music rose again, Melkor introduced his own themes. Loud, harsh, insistent, discord. To Melkor, among the Ainur, had been given the greatest gifts of power and knowledge, and he had a share in all the gifts of his brethren. He had gone often alone into the void places, seeking the imperishable flame, for desire grew hot within him to bring into being things of his own, and it seemed to him that Ilúvatar took no thought for the void, and he was impatient of its emptiness. Yet he found not the fire, for it is with Ilúvatar. At first, Melkor's music clashed violently with the harmony around him. The other Ainur faltered. Some tried to compensate. Others fell silent. The music began to fracture. But Ilúvatar did not stop it. Instead, he introduced a second theme. Deeper, stronger, more patient. The harmony reasserted itself, absorbing Melkor's discord rather than erasing it. Furious, Melkor rose again, pouring all his power into opposition. And once more Ilúvatar answered, this time with a third theme: quiet, resolute, unbreakable. A theme that suggested suffering and endurance beyond it. And in that moment, the music reached its end. Let's examine this text from the mythos. Then Ilúvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that he smiled, and he lifted up his left hand, and a new theme began amid the storm, like and yet unlike to the former theme, and it gathered power and had new beauty. But the discord of Melkor rose in uproar and contended with it, and again there was a war of sound more violent than before, until many of the Ainur were dismayed and sang no longer, and Melkor had the mastery. Then again Ilúvatar arose, and the Ainur perceived that his countenance was stern. And he lifted up his right hand, and behold, a third theme grew amid the confusion, and it was unlike the others. For it seemed at first soft and sweet, a mere rippling of gentle sounds and delicate melodies. But it could not be quenched, and it took to itself power and profundity. And it seemed at last that there were two musics progressing at one time before the seat of Ilúvatar, and they were utterly at variance. The one was deep and wide and beautiful, but slow and blended with an immeasurable sorrow, from which its beauty chiefly came. The other had now achieved a unity of its own. Ilúvatar silenced the Ainur, and then he spoke. He revealed to them what their music had truly been shaping, a vision of the world, not perfect, not free of pain, but real. He showed them history, ages unfolding, lives rising and falling, beauty born from struggle. And then he spoke words that Melkor could not escape. That no theme may be played that does not have its source in him. That even discord would, in the end, serve a greater design. Not because it was good, but because it could be used. This is a constant theme in Tolkien's writings regarding his philosophy of divine providence, simply implying that the sovereign God in Christianity has control over everything that happens in his reality, the omnipotent and omniscient attributes of God. It also implies that though Melkor may have brought about destruction, Eru had made him an object of his divine providence, making the theme greater. We also saw this in the conclusion of Lord of the Rings, the return of the king with Frodo and Sméagol. Just thought I should point this out. Then Ilúvatar did something the Ainur did not expect. He made the vision real. He gave existence to what had only been imagined. Suddenly, the Ainur saw the world no longer as music, but as something tangible, a place bound by time. Some of them were filled with awe, others with fear, and some with possessiveness. Many of the Ainur chose to enter the world. They became the Valar and the Maiar, caretakers of a reality they did not fully control. The Valar were higher beings, or angels, superior to the Maiar. Examples were beings like Melkor, Sivana, Manwë, Tulkas. And known examples of the lesser angels, known as the Maiar, are Gandalf, Sauron, and Saruman. Also, when the Maiar are sent to Arda, they get in humbled, weakened form, like we see in the movies and books. The Ainur would shape lands, raise mountains, guide waters, but they were now bound to time, bound to consequence. Melkor entered as well, not to nurture, but to claim. And so, before the First Age, before elves or men ever walked beneath the stars, the fate of Middle-earth was already set into motion. Not by swords, not by kings, but by music. After the great music that brought Middle-earth to life, the story of the Silmarillion begins to unfold. Then the Ainur were afraid, and they did not yet comprehend the words that were said to them. Melkor was filled with shame, of which came secret anger. But Ilúvatar arose in splendor, and he went forth from the fair regions that he had made for the Ainur. And the Ainur followed him. But when they were come into the void, Ilúvatar said to them, "Behold your music." And he showed to them a vision, giving to them sight where before was only hearing. And they saw a new world. The Ainulindalë is not a story about creation alone. It is a warning. That great power does not guarantee wisdom. That harmony requires humility. And that even rebellion, no matter how loud, can never escape the source from which it came. The world was born from a song, and every tragedy that follows is an echo of that first discord. This took me a long time to make due to my use of 3D modeling, rendering, and animation, which was done by me from scratch. This type of content is a major catalog for the channel, and it is also the purpose of this channel, which is to explain the lore and bringing unadapted material to life with various 3D softwares. I'll still be releasing game lore videos and the mythos from various books and movies in the future. Let me know what you would like me to talk about and bring to life in the comment section. And again, if you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like or subscribe so this video can reach the intended audience. Until next time, keep exploring amazing stories.